Namaste. Peace, love, and light. Welcome to Powerhouse Tarot. I'm Energy. Welcome in. So, this reading is going to be a traditional Celtic spread for the collective. I'm reading so many energies that I'm just going to do a Celtic. It's one of my favorites to do to kind of grab the energies, whether it's individual or collective. I can clarify and grab some more specific messages for every card. So that's how we're going to tap into this. Welcome in, Divine Collective Soul Tribe. If you enjoy the messages, make sure you get a video a big fat like. Join the channel, whatevs. Cool. Spirit, connect me to the messages here. We're just going to move these into the picture, right? There it is. There she are. Okay. All right. So there it is. What's at the bottom of the deck? It's in the Page of Wands. Interesting. So, like for our present, it's in the High Priestess. The High Priestess we're talking about here, guys. Trusting our own intuition. You know, knowing that everything you've been experiencing all the way up till now, it was no coincidence. You was meant to go through that so that you could learn something and find some sort of lesson that's giving you the worldly experience, the knowledge that you could trust on. Everything could fall around you, but you could trust your own divine intuition because you've acquired the experience necessary to know. So this is about you unlocking that greater inner knowing and just strengthening your intuition at this time, you know, in our present for us as a collective, right? Now, going into our problem, it's in the Eight of Wands. This talks about new energy. So for some of us, there could be like a lack of enthusiasm. So if this is your thing, like Spirit just wants you to focus on maybe getting the energy that you need today, you know, tomorrow, whenever, right? To kind of raise your vibrations, you know, be aware of how you're feeling and what you're experiencing, because it may be a reason why you're feeling that. Maybe you're not giving your shadow self, maybe you're not giving your inner child self, right, enough of attention. So sometimes it can act out in different forms like depression or whatever, so have you know? So be aware of that, you know, consciously. Not just, okay, she told me that, I'm going to put this in the back of my subconscious and kind of try to remember. No. Consciously, let's remember that we need to keep the energy high, okay? And raised on a certain type of frequency that can't be disturbed, you know, grounded. And that means honoring all aspects and parts of ourselves, right? So we're not having those certain type of mishaps when it comes to the problem area and needing new energy or just, you know, a new vibe for us, right? Now, in the past, I felt like a lot of us collectively could have been self-sabotaging for sure. Eight of Swords energy definitely talks about self-sabotage, victimhood, you know, all that sorts of thing, right? So it's like us coming out of that because this Eight of Swords in reverse. So in the past, some of us could have been experiencing that and still, you know, in the past we were in a space where the spiritual awakening had taken place still, and maybe we were still doing like certain things that we probably, shouldn't have been doing or whatever. That was creating a little bit of self-sabotage, a little bit of stagnation. But that too was part of the journey, all of it, right? Um, but so from the past, as a collective, we were coming out of that, you know, a lot of that victimhood where we blame someone else for our life. Okay. Stepping out of that actually makes us accountable and brings in strength. Okay. Now, in the future energy is in the Queen of Pentacles. I really feel like to go from the past and the Eight of Swords energy all the way to jump to the future, right? And the Queen of Pentacles, that means that right now in the present, we have to be in that vibration of kind of getting ourselves together, getting really healthy. You know what I'm saying? So take it like this. Spirit is urging us to get healthy and get our minds right, get our vibrations right, because something deep down inside of us is still being repaired and it's still needing our care and our attention, right? And until we address those things within us, okay, self is not gonna let it ride, because it's like you're not honoring the true you, right? So we get back to that conundrum. And so I feel like, again, we're stepping into that place of honoring all aspects of the self. So now there is a wholeness to our healing. It's not an incomplete healing. It's very whole and stable, because in the future, if we're in the Queen of Pentacles, this is a very stable and home and nurturing, like domestic energy, right? And this is here in the Pentacles, our earthly, sustenance. So it's resonating with us, and we're applying, that Eight of Swords energy and taking it and using it for our greater good. And it actually reaps us some abundance, some sort of fortune, because we've removed the victimhood, from whatever sort of situation or circumstance that we're going through. So in our conscious, we're in this tower moment, which just brings about some sort of change that we needed. We needed the upheaval of situations. We needed to be able to take a calculated risk. You know what I'm saying? In order to reach some sort of plateau for ourselves, It was like as if to say, well, to stay here, I might as well burn down with the building itself, right? And instead, we kind of took a leap of faith, you know what I'm saying? And it paid off for us, right? No risk, no reward, right? So that's the energy we're in with when it comes to the tower, We're ready to take a risk because we know that there's the reward is there. It's good. It's great for us, right? I feel like that's how we're approaching things these days, right? Subconsciously, but consciously, I feel like some of us could definitely be trying to come out of that depression. A lot of us could have been just faced with some sort of depression that was placed. I heard the messages said gratitude. This is an inability to express true gratitude for the life that you have and all that you have in all the facets. So this brings great depression because you can't see happiness from anything in your life. Therefore, your life will reflect that, right? You'll get that same vibration from the universe, right? So once we start to turn that energy into something that we want to vibe on, which is a higher spirit, which is a higher vibration frequency, right, of love, right, and of gratitude of where we came from to get us all the way here. It has to be some sort of gratitude. It has to be some sort of appreciation for the journey, for the life that we live it. Or it's never going to mean anything, no matter how many accomplishments that you strive for, right? No matter how many new lease cars you could go out and lease, no matter how many women that you could get, no matter how many guys you could take down, how much money you can accumulate. And none of it can satisfy you until you can finally be complete and accept and love all aspects of the self, right? So that's how we overcome the conscious depression that we're facing. So with it coming in reverse, it's like this is how we're understanding it. Like we have to go in and break it down. You know what I'm saying? Like why? Okay, so it's in reverse. That means that I'm trying, right? Give yourself the gratitude, like gratitude self for trying. If it's somewhere that you feel like, hey, I could push myself a little more, and I could dig it, press a little more. I could express a little more. There's, and then that's how you get into the energy of raising your own vibrations, Okay, we got to start working with that shadow self and that other aspect of ourselves and our emotions and how we're feeling, because that's the balance between it all, right? Life isn't always going to deal us apple pie or our favorite pie or our favorite dessert, whatever, because somebody's favorite dessert isn't pie. Sorry. It's not. But you get me? Like, yeah. All right. Now, and your influence, your power, it's in the Eight of Cups, okay? It's in taking those lessons and those tough, outcomes where you had to walk away from things. And it was hard as shit to walk away from it, but you knew that it was best for you. So sometimes that's walking away from feeling bad for yourself or feeling some sort of victimhood for your circumstances. Sometimes that's walking away from that. And for the most part, I feel like that's what it is for us as a collective, us walking away from that, in which we felt victimhood, in which we felt like there was something we could not do. When in all actuality, the true power was in the surrender. And as long as we are surrendering, all is well. And sometimes it is difficult to surrender. And that's why you got to let out, your inner child. You have to let your shadow play. You have to be healthy on all different aspects because, yes, discipline requires work. It's not supposed to be easy. So I just want to wrap that up on the Eight of Cups message. It was walk away from whatever just doesn't serve you right now. If it's not serving you, if it's not of your best self, of your higher nature, or even something that, like, sometimes your shadow don't even be wanting part of it. Sometimes your shadow be like, look, man, I just want to, cozy up and go smoke a blunt and motherfucking a fire in the back. Like, don't be wanting that much. So you got to really give into that and which is true to you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's going to be saying to yourself, like, hey, I've been here before and I know better. So I do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I walk away, I surrender from, you know what I'm saying, trying to compete with who I was yesterday, because I'm not that person anymore. It's a whole new day. Right? It's really that energy for us, and that's where your true power is gonna lie for us as a collective, right? Now, in the outer influence of the world, it's in the Seven of Cups in reverse, so I feel like it could be like a lot of deception or some sort of just Neptunian energy being shown here, like just fucking with your mind, people trying to play you like you don't know what the fuck is going on, or trying to play in your intelligence. That's all this is for the most part. So I want you to just be aware of it. I feel like as a collective we definitely will see what that is when it's coming, clarifying the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Wands. Yeah, some of us have boundaries already up, which is a really good thing. If you don't, now would be a good time to do so. When it comes to just people that just they vibe not right. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like the outer influence of the world is like, just keep your boundaries up and just stay protected and aware of the energies. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as you know what something is, then you kind of know how to combat it, how to go at it. So or how to deal with it, right? Yeah. Now, and our hopes and fears is in the Hermit in reverse. I feel like we come so far as a collective, we never really want to get to that place where we're not connected and we're not grounded with spirit, and we don't have that true and strong connection that we need with the soul. So the Hermit is coming in up in reverse, is telling us like, don't forget that connection that you have with the soul, the spirit. It's gonna be your everything. It's gonna be your grounded force. It's gonna be, that things that pull you through the Three of Swords and that Eight of Swords in those tower moments. So stay grounded to it. You know, that's your soul. High Priestess knows it. You know what I'm saying? And it backs you here on earth, then the Queen of Pentacles. You know that, right? We have a lot of power, much more than we give ourselves. And I feel like the spirit always wants to kind of remind us of how dope we are and how absolutely amazing and magnificent and perfect we are. Like we was made that way. And sometimes the world has a way of teaching us lies about ourselves, and we have to go in and deconstruct that. And when that happens, some of us will develop a stronger relationship with the spirit during those times, and then some of us will lose that connection with the spirit and have a hard time finding that back again, right? So this is us honoring that relationship because it's so important, but it's so precious because so many of us, we see it out in the world, who are not in touch with their spirit self, their soul, and you can see it, how they're lost in the things that they do and the way they carry on and etc., right? So it's just us honoring that, right? That relationship that we have with it, right? Clarifying the Hermit. Yeah. Okay, Queen of Wands. Okay. And I feel like it picked the Queen of Wands to clarify the Hermit right now. Basically, it's like because you're the magician. They didn't give you any other queen but the queen that had the wand, the magician queen, right? So it's like knowing who you are. Spirit always wants to confirm and let you know, because sometimes, like I said, we are greater than what we even give ourselves credit for, give ourselves acknowledgement for, give ourselves honor for. We get into these religions or these things and we forget about the self. And the self is the first altar. The self is the first everything. Because as within, as without, right? And I feel like it's us getting back to that connection where when we start to honor spirit, spirit starts to show us who we are. And we're like, holy shit, wow. Then it develops something even greater, right? As time goes on, right? So I feel like we're getting our confidence back and our hopes and fears through connecting with the spirit. You know, truly, we're getting our confidence back. It's being raised right now. Spirit is really like just giving us all of the love. You know, big Venus in the house, right? And Libra season of the balance, right? We're getting all of the good sauce right now. Like, for real, for real. So this is really good, collective, okay? Now, and our outcomes is in the Three of Swords, okay? Or Wands, sorry. So this is pretty much like some of us could have travel or some sort of traveling back somewhere. I'm seeing somebody could be returning back home for some of us, or just returning back to your roots or something like that. A message of returning to your roots. So, or just returning home or something like that. I heard literally returning to your roots. Some of you guys could be going back home. Something, maybe during the holidays. I don't know what this is, but there's a message in that. Let's clarify the Three of Wands with the King of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, something about us going back to our roots is faded. There's a faded energy. Faded. 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 It's faded. No, so there's something about I really just hear like something about karma, and somebody doesn't like, I don't know, I feel like somebody really learned the lesson. Somebody's pissed off about the lesson. Somebody is in denial about, you know, there's a lot going on here. You know, not gonna lie, a lot of messages that I'm getting, but for the most part, I see that we learn our lesson, and some of us, we're gonna take it a little harder than others. That's fine. But there's a lot that we learn in the outcomes here with Three of Wands. This is about our travel and our transition, you know, and possible expansion, you know, for the most part in the outcomes with the Three of Wands. So keep that in mind. But the King of Swords really talks about someone being really creative, a good leader, and someone that, you know, knows what the fuck they're doing, very strategic, you know. Someone just feels like, I don't know, they're trying to avoid karma, and it's like it's faded. You kind of just got to go with the flow of what's happening and the outcomes. Keep that in mind, okay? Clarifying here the Wheel of Fortune with the Chariot. Yeah, you just got to clarifying the Wheel of Fortune with the Chariot. Stop playing. Spirit is not playing with your eyes. It's going to constantly remind you, like, when you're wrong, like, hey, you're wrong. When you're right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Spirit's going to keep it real with us. And I love that about spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the soul. Okay, so keep working at this. I feel like this is for our outcome. We'll constantly keep working at the outcome. Okay, so keep that in mind. Eight of Pentacles. You know, some of us are, you know, there's a lack of energy where when it comes to the work, you know, but you're gonna have to do the work. Eight of Pentacles, you have to do the hard work. You have to do the hard work so that you can build. You can't build if there's no hard work, right? So in that order. Okay, collective. Let's see any more. Let's get some abundance messages here for us, collective. For the traditional, let's get an abundance message. Okay. Release jealousy. Wow. Jealousy is an affirmation that you don't have something, and the universe manifests exactly as you affirm. Let other people's success inspire you rather than frustrate you. If they have it, so can you. Okay, collective? Love and light. Let me know how you like this reading. Peace.